Awesome. Hey, everyone, welcome back to just another live stream. Was kind of led to just hop on again and just talk about being qualified. And I think it's something that I've dealt with, and I just wanted to kind of share it with you. And the question today is how or are you qualified? That's the question. Are you qualified? And sure, it's an open-ended question, but before we get into our discussion, I'll try and not be on before you long, but before we get into our discussion, I want to read the word or the definition of the word qualified because I believe it's important because a lot of times we hear words, we just don't know the definition. And perhaps you know the definition of the word qualified, and that's okay too. But I want to propose to you that words and meanings or understandings have layers. There's different layers to just life in itself, if you will. There's processes, but nevertheless, those processes make up different layers. And so today I want to read the word qualified, or at least the definition of it. And I'm reading out of dictionary.com on my iPad here. It reads, having the qualities, accomplishments, etc., that fit a person or some function, office, or the like. Number 2, having the qualities, accomplishments, etc., required by law or custom for getting, having, or exercising a right, holding an office, or the like. And the third definition of it is modified, limited, or restricted in some way, a qualified endorsement. So I want to just go ahead and get that started by, again, reading the definition. And we're just going to, again, ask the question. I'm going to ask the question is that, are you qualified? And so in today's, today's live stream, we're talking about how to develop your mindset to accomplish your dream. And to accomplish any dream, you must be qualified. And qualified doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to be qualified in all aspects of accomplishing that dream. Or if you are a business owner, let's say you are a baker, you own your own business, your bakery. It doesn't mean that you're going to be qualified in every area of owning a business. But are you qualified? And it really is truly a mindset. It's a belief. Because if you are disqualified or you believe that you're disqualified, it too is a belief. Give me one moment here. I'm going to pull up Facebook here, make sure we are in the right place. And we'll kind of just dive further into that. And pardon me. Make sure that I am being able to catch people who are coming on. But again, question is, are you qualified? Qualifications don't necessarily mean that you are going to, or being qualified doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to, again, have all the goods, have every bit of education that's needed to open that business, to fulfill that dream, to accomplish that goal, complete that task. It doesn't mean that. But qualifying, or at least qualifying yourself, can also mean that you know the right people. You have the information. And it doesn't mean that you are, again, having to have the certain skill set. Because before the skill set comes, it's a mindset. And I think many of us are completely skilled at a lot of different things. But it doesn't mean that we're qualified. Qualification is a mindset. And that's what we're talking about today, how to develop your mindset to accomplish your dream. What is the biggest thing that is preventing you from accomplishing your dream? What is the biggest thing that is in your way? What obstacle prevents you from accomplishing that dream or going after it? I've been in the digital marketing space for about 7-8 years, almost 8 years. And as an entrepreneur, I have had many, many challenges, and really more personal than anything. It hasn't been about anyone else, but it's more me, because I found out that the only person who could disqualify me was me. And in most cases, I was the one who was disqualifying myself from the race. Before I could even begin the race, I had disqualified myself. Perhaps for you, and maybe for me, and not maybe, but perhaps for you and for me, it's been our past. It's been what's been spoken into our life that is the disqualifier. For me, I like to say that words are as if we're as a kid, if you have skipped rocks in the water, words are essentially like a stone being skipped across the water. And initially the prominent ripples are closer. But as those ripples get farther and further away, they begin to kind of dissipate, kind of disappear. You don't see them. But just because we don't see them doesn't mean nothing's happening. So I like to say that words are as if we're skipping that rock across the water. It's like the ripples. Though in the beginning they're very pronounced, but as the ripples continue to make their way on top of the water, eventually they disappear. But again, it doesn't mean that nothing's happening. And words have a tendency to work under the surface, if you will. And you'd say subconsciously, we have held on to different things. And more importantly, it's been the very words that are the dominating factors in our lives. The things that we believed, the things that have been spoken into our life that come up at some point, and in most cases, the pivotal points in our lives. In most cases, the moment of increase, the moment of change, moment during transition. Those words, those sneaky little critters called words, especially the negative words, they have a tendency to make their way into our lives and begin to pose as a threat all of a sudden, right at the moment when you're at that crossroad, right at the moment when you are at that transition. Words have a way of being in the way. They have a way of preventing. And there's a kind of a double fold or dual fold for words. Words can either encourage or discourage. We're either encouraged by words or we're discouraged. And again, that's kind of that dual citizenship, if you will. And I think we have to determine what we're going to allow, who we're going to allow in the gate. And in most cases, for a lot of us, what we have allowed and who we have allowed in the gate have been words that have been spoken to us. And it doesn't necessarily matter who the words have been spoken or who have spoken the words. That's not necessarily the point there. It's just that the words themselves are the dominating and domineering factors in our lives. And we can hear words, we can listen to an audio tape and not see the person who's speaking the words. So it doesn't matter who is speaking the words. And in some cases it does, but ideally words have power. And when we neglect to see the power, it doesn't mean that they don't have power. It's just that we don't understand. Words, much like cutting an onion or peeling an onion, there are many layers to it. And the deeper you go, or the deeper you begin to peel that onion back, the more layers you begin to peel the onion back, it has a tendency to get stronger and stronger and eventually maybe make our eyes water. And I want to propose to you that that is the intensity for which words really kind of take space in our lives. Because as we begin to peel back the layers of words, as we begin to speak certain things into our lives, our desires, Because really, the challenge is overcoming what was spoken. Because somehow, and in most cases for all of us, words have been spoken into our lives when we are young. We didn't have the wherewithal or understanding to know how to combat those words, if you will, to be a force to contend with what was spoken. We had no clue. We didn't understand that. That's why I'm encouraged to do this video, this live stream, is to encourage you because I'm encouraged. Not always have I been encouraged. I've had my moments of being discouraged. Absolutely. That's just the nature of human beings, of all of us. Discouragement has a way of settling in. And in most cases, before we are encouraged, we are discouraged. You and I have to be able to, again, acknowledge the very words that preside, that have taken residence in our lives. And it may mean that we have to revisit certain things, revisit certain places in our lives. Ask the tough question, why? Why am I feeling this way? Why did this happen? And those answers don't necessarily come easy. Because before we can get to the answer, in most cases, there are layers that we have to give access to. And as much as we can give access to those layers in our lives, it's going to be our determined will. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want to get to the other side? Again, talking about how to develop your mindset to accomplish your dream. It all comes down to a mindset. It all comes down to how bad do you want it? It all comes down to answering why. Not why do you want it? Not so much as it is why you can't have it. Are you disqualified? Have your lack of accomplishments disqualified you? Again, it's all in what you believe. I'm not qualified or disqualified because how you feel about me, or you're not disqualified or qualified any more or less because how I feel about you. It comes down to one simple thing. What do you believe? It comes down to yet even how deep will you go? This is about building a foundation, removing the old and replacing it with the new mindset, being transformed by the renewing of our mind, a renewed belief system. That's what it comes down to. It comes down to releasing a new spirit, a new idea, new concepts, looking at things differently, being determined to look at things differently. Because the old way or the old mindset has a tendency of wanting to creep right back into that place. It has a mindset of wanting to really be a deterrent from allowing us to get to the next level or to peel back the layers for which the words themselves are their layers. And I know we can say, yeah, the word means this, but in truth, the word itself, there are layers to it. There are layers to our belief system. If we are ready to challenge, that's one of the biggest things that we must be able to confront within our own selves. I haven't always believed the right thing to do. It's because I didn't know the right thing to do. But at some point, from looking how others would respond and how I did things, I would have to use some kind of reasoning. Well, if I do it this way and they respond a certain way, and if I repeat that behavior and I repeat it again and they're still responding a certain way, normal reasoning would say, well, Curtis, that may not be the right thing to do. This is normal reasoning. And again, this is also not being able to, or excuse me, not being afraid to challenge ourselves. Because if you're trying to get to that place where you're fulfilling that dream, whatever it may be, if you're trying to get to that place to accomplishing your dream, you have to answer some tough questions. You cannot be afraid of challenging yourself. And when you are afraid of challenging yourself, the word in itself has no authority. And I want to touch bases on that in itself. The authority is the word. And if we don't give the word authority in our lives to be qualified or disqualified or qualified is the operative word. That's the word that is the authority. That's the word that is essentially working in the subconscious for all of us, whether we're disqualified or whether we're qualified, based on our accomplishments, based on our skill set. And we have a tendency to look at others and compare ourselves to others. And by all accounts, and in truth, that will never work. Because if you or I are not looking at ourselves in a sober manner, if you will, and when I say a sober manner, I mean a proper mindset, a level mind, if you will, not seeking to do better than others, but seeking to understand so that I know, so that you know what is needed, what is required. Look at how other people are responding to different things that people are doing. People, in some cases, in a lot of cases, what we bring to them, the message that we bring to them, it's qualifying because we've been on the journey. So it's not necessarily a skill set. It's not necessarily how much you've accomplished, but it's the journey that you've taken. It's our willingness to expose ourselves on the journey or having taken the journey. It's our willingness to be open, to be candid. It's our willing to share our experience. That's what qualifies us. What disqualifies us is our lack of understanding that every man, woman, and child will have to take this journey. And I am not the author or the authority over anyone to decide that if someone is viable, if they're able to take this journey or not. But you will take the journey. You will have to take the walk. We all do. Some don't make the journey. Life is short, or the life is cut short for various circumstances, situations. Some will make the journey with joy because they understand. And as you take this journey, life itself, you and I have to determine what we believe. And if we are ready, willing, and able to challenge our own belief systems, because some worked and some didn't work. And essentially, the ones or the belief systems that didn't work, we have to be ready to dispose of them, ready to take up something new, ready to fill that void with something that's going to bring forth the right experience, the things that we're desiring in life, and the things that others are desiring in life as well. So my question is, are you qualified? Who disqualifies you? It's not me, nor is it anyone else in your family, your past, and your current place in life. We are the only ones who can disqualify ourselves. We are the only one who can choose to say, I'm qualified. And we choose to say, I'm qualified because of the journey that we've taken. That's why you can't take what another man has. When I speak of man, I'm the human race, men, just men as a whole, woman and child. You can't walk another man's journey. We have a tendency, I think, in life or just in general, a lot of times is to, we kind of want to fashion ourselves after people sometimes and different things that we've seen in life. But man, is that a mistake? Because in most cases, we don't know their journey. And for for a lot of the people, famous people, influencers, I'm not trying to be them, nor should you. Be the best you can be. Take your own journey. Will their thoughts and commentary, or maybe perhaps books they've written, will that help to influence or give you some information on what the journey's like, or thoughts and suggestions? Absolutely. It doesn't mean that we're going to do away with content that's going to help build us up in character and understanding or deepen our belief system. It doesn't mean that we're going to can do away with any of that. But we're going to take it along with us on our journey and expect that there are going to be bumps in the road. That it kind of goes without saying. It is absolutely essential to really just kind of keep a level state of mind, if you will. Because cold doesn't remain cold consistently. Eventually, you've got to expect there are going to be warm days. There's always going to be the opposite. And if we have not taken that into account, and it obviously goes to say that you can have 29 great days, but rest assured, a not so great day is coming. And being qualified allows us to deal with the not so good day, or for that day which we've determined not so good. Being qualified allows us to work it out. It allows us to get through. It allows us to accomplish regardless of what comes against us, regardless of what the obstacle might be. Question, are you qualified? You are going to have to go through some things, my friend. It's not based on what I believe. It's not based on what another person believes. It's based on that when you are taking this journey, and at the end of this journey, when you can still say to your fellow man, let me show you how you're qualified. Absolutely. So it's not for me to determine or on any level who's qualified and who's not, who's unqualified. But it is for us to understand that it is a mindset. It is having to reset your mind, if you will. we're not obviously going to get rid of everything, but it's filling that which is void with something of substance, the right information. And sure, we could probably get into that and whether what's right and what's wrong. It sounds like it's subjective, but rest assured, if you answer wrong, you'll clearly know that you've answered wrong. And lastly, I want to finish this up with the pressures that come in life. And words, as I mentioned earlier, are like layers. There are layers to words, if you will, for us to really get the meaning or understanding, for us to have that aha moment, that epiphany, if you will. And so words operate like, again, like peeling an onion, and as you're peeling the outside layer, obviously it's not as strong, the smell of the onion, and yet you're peeling it, you're going deeper and eventually getting to the center of the onion, and you have a more of a stronger aroma that comes from the onion. And it's no different from essentially what is demanded in our lives. As we take this journey, there are going to be absolutely pressure. We are going to have to do the work, the pressure to peel back the different layers or beliefs, things that we once believed, and peel back the things that really sometimes it's just have a kind of a stench to them. They don't smell right. They don't look right. And it's pressure. But it takes the person who's willing to accomplish their dream to say, I'm ready to die for that which I've spent so much time dreaming about. It's for the person who has considered themselves a doer, going beyond the call of duty to accomplish their dream. What better way to show or to prove to yourself, not to me or to anyone else, that you are qualified? Guys, that about wraps it up. I want to thank you for joining. For those who will watch the replay, thank you for your kind words in advance. Again, question, are you qualified? That's what I've been talking about for the last, for the last half hour almost. Time goes by so quick. Wow. I have absolutely thoroughly enjoyed this. Again, ask yourself, are you qualified? No one can qualify you. No one can disqualify you other than yourself. We've been talking about how to develop a mindset to accomplish your dream. You must be qualified. And if your qualifications are based on what I think or anyone else thinks or what mom thinks or what dad thinks, family members, whoever, if they're based on any outside external apparatus, operation, or any motivation that's outside, you'll never be qualified. So qualify yourself, arm yourself with the right information, dig deep, peel back the layers, challenge yourself, and know that in order to fulfill your dream, you must believe that you are qualified. Guys, it has been absolutely awesome. So thank you. Appreciate your time. Share this with someone who could possibly use this word. Are you qualified? Been talking about how to develop your mind to accomplish your dream. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Have a great day. Ciao.